Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is June Liu. How you doing, June?
Doing good.
So today we are talking about the Cubariqueño Protocol Probable Cause Robusto. The cigar is 5-inch by 52 ring gauge, comes out of the La Zona factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is Mexican San Andres Maduro. Binder and filler are from Nicaragua. Cigar was blended by Hector Alfonso, and the price point is $9.69. The cigar was released in July of 2016. So with all that out of the way, June, what was your pre-light experience like?
The pre-light was really good. So, in terms of the look of the cigar, a very a rich Maduro wrapper. I called it a very lively kind of wrapper because there was some really good oil content on the fingertips, and then the wrapper had a lot of tooth on it, which is always a like one of those like presentation things. um, when I was touching it with my fingers, I was just kind of giving a quick pinch. I thought the bunch of roll felt well done. I got a nice even give throughout. Head finish off with a pretty well tiered thick triple cap. So moving on to the nose experience. Smelling the wrapper, I got construction paper, dry wood, and a little bit of barnyard coming through. When I smell the foot, I got that same barnyard, white pepper, just like a stereotypical, I guess, natural tobacco sweetness. On the cold draw, I got some cedar and dried nuts.
Yeah, the wrapper was dark brown, had some color variation throughout. The veins were very well pressed and hidden. Seams were smooth, but they were fairly obvious just due to the color variations on the wrapper. 3 caps that were applied very well. 2 bands. Primary band's that standard protocol band, but in kind of the red and the black color combination. And the second band kind of carries the same color combination and displays the line name on it. The aroma from the wrapper was a mix of cocoa and leather, and the foot brought an interesting mix of like a mellow black licorice and hay. Pre-light draw, sweet hay, leather, a little bit of white pepper, gave kind of a slight tingle on my lips and the tip of my tongue. So flavor-wise, what was your experience like?
Starting from the first third, the first few draws I got, it brought barnyard and like a dry and faintly kind of a gritty earthiness to it. And then I puffed on a few times, and a cocoa mixed with like a faintly sweet milk cream started joining. There was there was definitely spice in the cigar, but it was really well balanced, really well rounded. That kind of encompassed the entire profile. When I was retrohaling, notes of just the deeper notes of black pepper, cocoa, and a sharp cedar. Finish medium in length, lingering notes of wood bitterness and dry oak. Body and strength, starting from the first third through the entire cigar, was a medium for me. Starting from the second third, really second third or last third, they kind of intermingle together. Second third, I thought that really lost out on that milk creaminess that I was getting. And the profile is mainly centered around cocoa, barnyard, tapered black pepper, that slightly gritty dry earth. And there was some like intermittent milk coffee tasted as well. And that's one of my favorite notes. So I was hoping that it was more of a consistent note. But when I did taste it, definitely dug it. Retro, no changes. Still the elevated notes of the black pepper, cocoa, sharp cedar. Finish still medium length notes of wood bitterness and dry oak. And within the last third, I mean, it's everything that I just talked about in the second third, except that I felt like at times that black pepper spice kind of peaked, and it was just kind of like it'll like peak on and off, and not really consistently. So all in all, just really good like earthiness. Really dug the cream when it came in, and very distinctive barnyard that I got out of this. That perhaps it was the same like manure that Charlie was talking about, the half wheel.
Yeah. Initial draws for me brought a mix of wood, earth, and baking spice. And then after a few draws, that wood mellowed out a bit, and the baking spice kind of transitioned to a full black pepper, which was evenly mixed with that earthiness. Retrohale was full black pepper, a little bit of wood in the background. And then half an inch in, the pepper began to mellow and the wood increased to kind of come even with the earthiness. Retrohale had then become an even mix of the earth and the wood and had a little bit of that pepper in the background. And then as the third was coming to a close, the earth and the wood created a really nice mix, and the pepper was really just present on the finish there. And strength was just slightly above medium. Then getting in the second third, the wood kind of became a little bit more defined as cedar, and it took a little bit of a lead over the earthiness, and there was still a little bit of a slight pepper note that was present on the finish. 3/4 of an inch in, the earthiness reduced, and some bitterness kind of joined the profile. The pepper had completely left. And then 1.25 inches, the cedar transitioned to oak and carried a little bit of a toastiness with it. There's still slight bitterness in the background, nothing too bad. And then as the third was coming to a close, that toastiness of the oak receded a little bit, and the bitterness left the profile, and the strength had gotten to the medium full point. And then getting in the final third, the oak kind of continued on, and toastiness had completely left. A slight bitterness had also returned. Retrohale was just creamy oak. 1/4 inch in, the cigar began to heat up a little bit, which brought that toastiness back to the oak. And then 1 inch in, the heat lessened and the toast level kind of dropped off at the kind of the same amount. Still a little bit of bitterness in the background, and that's kind of how the cigar finished out for me. And strength remained at that medium full level. So getting in performance for burn and draw, what was your experience like?
It was average for both. So with the burn, it was a letdown for one main reason, really. I had to touch it up twice within the first and second third. Within the first and last third. It just kind of felt like there was this portion of the cigar that just refused to burn with the rest of the cigar. It was always trying to it was always trailing and trying to play catch up. So I had to remedy that by a couple of touch-ups. Aside from that, I thought it was a really cool and long burning cigar. The Robusto burned for like 2 hours and 45 minutes, which is super long for Robusto. Ashes out on tight. I got 1 inch self-tap ash marks. Moving on to the draw. The draw was also average. It was pretty snug. So even after cutting it to like that very last end of the cap, was still the same amount of tightness that I got out of it. So,
yeah, the burn line was just slightly wavy for me the entire time. Ashes held on 1.25 inch increments, so that was pretty good. I had similar issues with you for the draw. Really snug the entire time, and I think that may have caused the cigar to heat up a little bit just from a little bit more deliberate draws on it. So, overall, what were your thoughts?
I thought this was a consistently good tasting cigar, minus the construction that I could have had better. I dug like that cocoa, the earthy tones of the cigar. I really like that milk creaminess and that milk coffee. But I wish that it was either like sweeter and creamier, or just like fuller in general. I remember the Churchill, reading back on my notes. I mean, I definitely got a really good dose of that milk creaminess, and I wish that the Robusto had that same amount, but unfortunately it didn't. So really, I mean, just talking about perhaps benchmarking against the Churchill, that Churchill is definitely way better for me as compared to this one. But I'll still smoke this one again. But if you given me a choice of the two Vitola, I'd definitely pick the Churchill.
Yeah, the cigar started with a full and complex profile, but as it reached the second third, the flavors became pretty linear. Strength was up there as well, so something maybe for more seasoned smokers. I think this is a decent offering that showcases that Mexican wrapper, but I was hoping for a little bit more complexity. But I'd definitely be interested in revisiting this just to see if I get one that has a bit of a better draw, and that maybe that would allow the flavors to be kind of continue on from how the first third was. Definitely worth checking out if you come across one to see if it fits your profile, if you like Mexican Sandres. But just like you said, in benchmarking against the Churchill, I definitely prefer the Churchill over this one. So getting into the scores, I gave it a 5.80. You gave it a 6.33. How do you think that matches up with your experience?
Match well. I mean, good throughout within the tasting profile. And I did averages for burn and draw, so that score sounds right around what I experienced.
Yeah, mine matches up well as well. It's I had a good, good flavor profile in that first third and then average the rest of the way. Construction was decent. I mean, the draw was the letdown. Burn was fine for me, so not that big of a deal. But yeah, I mean, it's slightly above average. Um, but I mean, that's different vitolas is kind of what the whole game is about. You can find the right vitola for you to see which one you like. So definitely, I think that Churchill's the better representation out of these two. So um, we'll get to kind of go through all that in our line analysis since we smoked the two of them, even though they've now kind of mentioned that they're going to be coming out with the Lancero version. So I think that'll probably come out at the trade show in July. So we'll have to revisit that line analysis once that comes out and we get a chance to review that cigar as well. Any other final thoughts from you?
Nope. This, probably what we say doesn't even matter because they're so social media geniuses. They're going to sell the shit out of these. So.
That's right. Well, if you're just catching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also go to the website, developingpalates.com, to read the full written review. Be sure to follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+. And you can also catch all of our review recaps on podcast, iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.